From the mind of Ishana Shyamalan, the daughter of M. Night Shyamalan, comes a horror movie about monsters that are into voyeurism. The 2024 film The Watchers was added to a long line of scary flicks released this year. But I do not know what I found scarier, the movie or the fact that some bird was the best actor in the film while Dakota Fanning is in it. It is a movie filled with great ideas that were either executed poorly or distracted by yet another shiny idea that they ditched the old one mid-movie. And it's filled with plot holes, like where do they get water? Do they have a toilet? And why did you invest me in some random purple healing flower just to never mention it again? So without further ado, let's get straight into the movie breakdown. There is a forest in the west of Ireland that doesn't appear on any map, and it is known to draw in lost souls. John, who is stuck in this forest, is running past the point of no return number 108. But as he keeps running forward, he finds himself in a loop and is back at the point of no return sign. The sun is down, and the birds flee from the forest. John climbs a tree in a desperate attempt to save his own life, but falls down. Something appears between the trees, and before John gets dragged into a hole and killed of Cam, he mutters the words, "How's that possible?" In a pet shop in Galway, Mina's boss introduces her to a valuable rare golden conure. He tasks Mina with safely transporting the bird to a zoo near Belfast. He apologizes for the timing because Mina is clearly struggling with some unresolved trauma, but she accepts the request and takes the bird home. At home, she tells the bird her mom died 15 years ago and that she is going out tonight. She puts on a wig and goes to a bar for a totally forgettable scene that does absolutely nothing for the plot. The next day, she loads up the bird and gets on the road. The beautiful 3.5-hour trip spanning 324 kilometers, or 201 miles across the Irish countryside begins. During the car ride, she gets a call from her twin sister Lucy. She lets it go to voicemail, but the message was that she was disappointed. Mina did not attend their mom's memorial. Apparently, it was beautiful. She clearly has been ignoring her sister for a long time, but is not planning to break that silence anytime soon, as she is not paying any attention because she is listening to the voicemail on repeat. Her GPS goes haywire. It leads her into the heart of the forest. Her radio goes Celtic on her, and then her car breaks down. Mina leaves the car and spots a sign in the forest. She walks around it, and it's one of the point of no return signs. This one is number 12. Mina gets her bag and bird as they walk into the forest looking for help because clearly somebody is the owner of the creepy sign. But after she passes the point of no return and the sun is going down, she decides to go back to the car, but it's too late. The car is gone. All that is left all around her is a dense forest. So with no way out, she gives up on finding her way back to the car and names the bird Darwin because it seems appropriate to name the animal that accompanies her at the end. A flock of birds flies over them, and she spots someone or something in the distance, a white-haired woman. Mina runs after her as quick as she can and finds something that resembles a bunker. The white-haired woman opens the door and tells Mina that if she values her life, she will have to run. The white-haired woman locks the door behind them. Mina asks what the hell is happening and where she is, and the woman named Madeline tells her she's in the coop. She introduces the others, Kira and Daniel. Madeline tells Mina they do not have time for small talk because it is not wise to keep them waiting. She asks Kira to stand by Mina to keep her calm because they will be very interested in someone new. They stand in a line and Madeline tells Mina, who is wondering what the flying F-bomb is going on, that they call them the Watchers. She shouldn't worry because she will survive the night. The Watchers cannot get in. They just want to look at her. They stand in front of something that resembles a mirror, but from the outside, it's a window like in the police interrogation rooms. Madeline tells Mina to take a step forward, and they hear a rumbling from outside that resembles an applause. They are welcoming Mina to the show. At dawn, the mirror turns back into a window, and Mina mumbles, "We are leaving Darwin." She gets her bird and tells the others she's going home as she wanders into the forest. Madeline tells the others to let her go, but when alone, she spots somebody resembling a little girl, and she hears a whisper say, "Why did you do that?" So she starts running deeper and deeper. She ends up at the end of a cliff, and all she can see around her is forest as far as the eye can see. Mina gave up and is resting her legs when Madeline lays a hand on her shoulder and tells her she is not the first to try and get out. They've all tried and failed. The forest can cause hallucinations, and if you fall for them, you'll go mad. Because in the forest, they are nothing more than prey. Madeline takes her to a point of no return sign and tells her they are landmarks. They are in a perfect circle around the bunker and are all about half a day's walk away. So if you stay within the boundaries, there is hope of surviving the night. But if you step outside, there is no turning back. Mina asks, "Who created the perimeter?" And Madeline tells her that Daniel and Kira call him the professor. Time is up. They have to rush back for the night. It's nightfall, and Mina wonders if they have to put on a show to entertain the watchers. But Madeline tells her it's actually whatever. The watchers are easily entertained. Kira dances for them while Mina watches some sleazy reality TV. There is one DVD in the bunker, and its owner was the professor. That morning, Kira invites Mina to join her for the day. They go to collect a flower, Prunella vulgaris. Kira makes a paste from them. It functions as a pain relief for Daniel, who gets frequent migraine attacks. Then Kira tells Mina that John always thinks Daniel has a thing for her, and she explains that John is her husband. They came to the forest together. Kira says that Mina will see him when she meets him, to which Mina asks where he is. Kira tells her he left 6 days ago, but she still firmly believes he will come back. Stachys sylvatica, good for inflammation and bleeding. Did that seem random? That's because it is. It is in no way significant for the movie. Mina asks what the watchers want from them, and Kira answers that Madeline has a theory that just seeing one would drive a person mad. Then she pulls her towards a big hole in the ground. There is a large tunnel system underneath the forest where the watchers sleep during the day. Mina asks how long Kira has been in the forest, and she answers that her and John have been stuck for about 5 months. Back at the bunker, Madeline finally explains the rules to Mina. It seems like she should have done this the first day, but who am I to question her logic? Rule 1. Do not turn your back to the mirror. 2. Do not open the door after dark. 3. Do not go near the holes in the ground, and always stay in the light. And that night, while the rest is asleep, Mina puts her ear against the glass to see if she can hear them. When she can't, she goes to bed, but there is a knocking on the glass, followed by a growl. Madeline grabs Mina and tells her to stay still and just let them look at her. The next day, Mina spends the day with Daniel. He hunts for food. He tells Mina that Madeline used to teach at a university, but Mina gets distracted because she sees little girls running through the forest. She asks Daniel how long he's been in the forest, and he answers 8 months and 3 days. She asks him if he has ever seen a watcher, but he hasn't because seeing a watcher means you are dead. But Mina does not believe they exist, and she thinks Daniel doesn't either. She walks towards one of the underground holes, while Daniel follows her and whines about the rules. She persuades him into helping her by holding the rope while she lowers herself down. Down there, she finds a newspaper dating back to 1992 and a lot of outdated equipment. She also finds a bike which they pull up to the surface. But while Mina is waiting for Daniel to pull the bike up, something starts to close in on her. It puts a hand into the light and starts to crumble away while it says something in some unknown language. Daniel pulls Mina up and they return to the bunker with the loot where they have to explain themselves to Madeline. They do not tell her about going into the hole. but do explain that the bike might give them a chance to go further into the forest than before. Daniel fixes an old camera they also found in the hole and MacGyvers it into a surveillance camera so that the following night they will be able to see the watchers. But that night, there is someone at the door. Human legs are visible on the surveillance cam. Madeline tries to calm them down and explain that this is all a trap, but Kira gets up and walks towards the door. She calls out, "John, is that you?" And John answers with, "Yes, honey, please open the door." Kira believes it's her husband, but Madeline stops her from opening the door. John tells her he is hurt and the watchers are coming for him, so they have to open the door quickly. Madeline confronts Mina to ask her where she got the bike, and she confesses that she went into one of the holes. She blames her for using Daniel because he is naive, but Kira is about to open the door, so Madeline suggests that she first asks John something only he would know. She asks him what book she is reading at the moment, but he doesn't know and asks her to let him in. He wants to touch her. She asks him to show his face to the camera, but as soon as he does, he is being pulled away by something. And then they finally see something monsterish that destroys the camera. There is a lot of commotion outside. Madeline tells them to take their positions while the watchers attack the mirror and make a large crack in it. The next morning, Madeline throws the bike back into the hole and asks Mina if she is now finally done breaking the rules. There is a flashback of when Mina was still a child. She is in the car with her sister Lucy and their mother. Mina is being a brat and playing with her car window, which distracts their mother, and when she doesn't pay attention, they have a head-on collision with a truck. Time passes. Winter came in the forest, and the forest really starts to get to the group. Mina researches the plants and the point of no return signs. Madeline is upset with Daniel for failing to provide them with food, and Kira is still sobbing in the bunker over her dead husband. Mina made a drawing mapping out all the point of no return signs on the floor of the bunker. When she notices Kira wandered off into the forest, it is almost sunset, and she found her standing next to one of the holes. She still truly believes that the John who was at the door that night was the real John. She wants to jump into the hole when they hear Daniel scream. They run towards the sound and find him tying down Madeline. He runs off, and Kira follows him while Mina frees Madeline. They follow the two, but when they reach the bunker, the door is closed. Daniel refuses to let them in. The sun is going down, and the birds are flying away. Kira asks Daniel why he did that, and he answers that something had to change. Madeline pulls Mina into the forest, and they hide under a rotting tree branch to hopefully mask their scent. Then they try to be as quiet as possible as the watchers are approaching the bunker. A vile creature appears above them and walks towards the bunker. It stands up and appears to be a lot taller than they previously thought them to be. But as soon as the watcher sees Mina and Madeline are missing, it calls the others. They are angry. A whole group of them approach the window, and Daniel starts to scream that they are not here with them. So the watchers spread out to search the forest for them. Madeline and Mina run back to the door to beg Daniel to let them back in. Mina pleads for her life. She tells Daniel that her sister, Lucy, tries to call her every day, but Mina never picks up the phone because she blames herself for killing their mother. She tells him that she isn't a good person, but that Daniel is, and he wouldn't be able to live with himself if he killed them. He opens the door to let them in. They get in front of the mirror in hopes of forgiveness. Madeline tells them that she has never lied to the group about the rules, but she has withheld some information. In the outside world, she taught history, folklore, mythology, those types of things at the university, and unlike the rest of them, She chose to come to this forest. She knew about the Watchers before she entered, but it was only after the first time she encountered one of them she understood how dangerous they are. Back when she was alone, Madeline had to hunt for her own food, and one day she cut it too close. But what she saw was not what she expected. The thing she found in the forest resembled herself. It wasn't a perfect replica. It was kind of off, longer, leaner. The Watchers are a very ancient species and go by a lot of names. Changelings, the winged people, and most commonly known as fairies. They watch the humans to study them and eventually become them, and that is why they will never let them leave. There is a knocking on the door. It's Kira's voice, repeating her words to John, asking what book she is reading. Then it's Madeline and Daniel's voices sounding back at them, and Mina screaming out to Daniel. They try to block the door with the table, and that's when Mina notices that the carpet under the table was hiding a hidden hatch. If you are in a bunker for months and months without searching the entire thing from top to bottom is a little weird to me, but okay, we'll run with it. They climb down a ladder and enter the bunker's hidden room. As the window breaks, they quickly seal the vault-type door. It looks like a doomsday shelter containing a lot of food and other provisions, but Mina lays her eyes on the computer. They are unable to get a signal to send for help, but there is a video log on this old hunk of junk. It was made by Professor Rory Kilmartin back on the 24th of September 2009. He is the creator of this impenetrable fortress called Wonderland. He talks about the Watchers, how they are learning and mastering him, how they made simple mistakes in the beginning, but they are making less and less. He talks about turning the window into a mirror because his sanity can't handle looking at perfect copies anymore. At that time, before he had a generator, he had to rely on manual labor. He lured in men from neighboring towns who had no family or prospects. He lured in 13 of them a day, and then around nighttime, he would suggest eating outside, and while they were distracted, he would slip back inside and lock the door while waiting for the night to take care of the witnesses. Then he talks about one Watcher that appeared to him, but in the form of a child with red hair. This one was different from the others. It was traveling on its own. He started to gain a god complex by wondering what it would be like to hold this power of perfect duplication. One could even cheat death. It would be like cloning yourself. Now, in the next video, he's managed to do it. He captured the anomaly. The man is clearly absolutely bonkers by now. The final video was on day 300. He is losing his humanity. The creature is waiting upstairs for him, and he is planning to shoot it and commit suicide afterwards. Then he mentions a boat he left behind in the river, past the point of no return number 134. At the place where the birds leave the woods. Now he speaks to the one finding these messages. He tells them to get to the boat, follow the birds, go to his office at the university, and destroy all his research. The video ends with the sound of 2 gunshots. Mina tells the group they'll leave tomorrow. That night, they party. Kira and Daniel dance, and Daniel tells Kira about his abusive daddy. She promises him that if they can escape the forest, he can stay with her. That morning, they climb out of the fallout shelter inside the bunker, and the mirror window is broken. The group sets out towards the point of no return, number 134. They have to be careful because the forest will do everything in its power to keep them inside. They have to make sure to stay close to each other and not get distracted by the things they might see. At the point of no return, Mina releases Darwin from its cage and acts like this random bird that has been in a cage for months now actually gives a flying darn about them and goes, "We'll follow your lead." Darwin leads the way like a full-fledged member of the team, and they follow him through the forest. They come across a large stone plate on the ground. Madeline explains that this must have been the fairies' prison. She tells the group that fairies once lived among the humans as a sort of gods, as a bridge between nature and man. But over time, the humans began to fear the changelings, and a war ensued. The war ended when the humans banished the Fae to a tomb deep underground, sealed by an impenetrable door. When they finally did escape, they found that they lost their beauty and their wings, but they are losing daylight, so they have to move along. The further they go into the forest, the more hallucinations they are experiencing. Madeline tries to keep the group together, but the flock of birds is already flying over their heads, which means the watchers are coming for them. Madeline keeps their spirits high, and that's when they finally see it. They have arrived at the river and spot a boat in the distance. They run to the boat to get the heck out of there, but Daniel hears a screaming. It's John. He is calling for help. The girls notice Daniel is gone, and Kira sees Daniel pulling John out of the forest in the distance. They are calling out to him that it's not John, but it's too late. The Watcher carves a sign in Daniel's forehead before he cuts his throat. As the group gets away in the boat, a group of Watchers is stuck on the edge of the forest. Madeline is sure they can't swim, so the rest believes they are now safe. Mina, Kira, and Madeline wake up near a bridge back in civilization. Darwin is also there because that bird definitely did not fly off to freedom, and they take the first bus to Galway. Mina offers to go to the university to fulfill Kilmartin's wishes of destroying his research, and the others agree. Finally back at home, Mina has another flashback of the accident when she was young. Lucy blamed her by asking why she did that to their mother. No wonder she is not overkilling her mom. The next day, Mina deceives the university staff to get herself into Kilmartin's office. After he went missing, a group of students started a fund to keep the prof's office like it was, to memorialize their favorite teacher. Mina finds the box containing the building plans for the bunker and his research notes about the halfling dilemma. Deep in the university archives, the professor found a scroll depicting the real truth before the war between the humans and fairies. Before the fairies were feral monsters without wings, it was a golden era in the age of men. The fairies lived among the humans as guardians and friends, even as love interest. But it was the half-blooded children that changed everything. They were the ones who were very skilled at transformation, even into those that had passed away. But after the humans banished the fairies, nobody really knows what happened to the halflings, and they just assumed they went extinct. But that has never been proven. While looking further, Mina finds a stack of pictures, and it's clear that something is wrong. She takes a taxi to Kira's house and knocks on the door. Kira opens, and Mina tells her she has to show her something. She shows her the pictures. It's Professor Kilmartin and a woman. The professor was married to a woman named Madeline. Then she shows Kira the obituary. Madeline Kilmartin passed away in the year 2001 from lung cancer. Mina assumes that the Watcher the professor caught must have taken on the form of Madeline. One question remains. How could she walk in the sunlight if she is a Watcher? Mina assumes she is a half-blood, the anomaly that can move around during the day. Now, they just have to wait at the window. Mina believes she will come to hunt down the both of them, but when Mina looks in the sink, it's filled with cockroaches, and a car arrives. Kira gets out of the car, and Mina realizes that the person she has been talking to is not Kira at all. She says she hasn't gotten it quite right, but she will in time. Mina asks her if she came to kill them, but she answers that she came to become them. As Kira enters the house, the Watcher turns into Josh and sneaks up on her. He smacks her with a picture frame and grabs Mina. They were like gods once, and it's because of humans they were forced to live under the earth like bugs. He smacks her around and tells her she cannot be trusted now that she knows the Watcher's secrets. He calls them pets that he kept to study. Mina tries to gain its trust, but it turned back into Madeline. All its life it dreamed to make it to the world beyond the woods. The others made her suffer for being different. Her name at birth was Einriachton. It means the strange one, the day walker, the deformity. The Watcher thought everything would change when the professor came. He promised to get her out of the forest, but instead the bastard tried to shoot her. So he left her no choice but to kill him. The Watcher changes into the professor and watches her from outside the window, but this time as her mirror image. Mina lets her in, and the Watcher grabs her neck and pushes her against the window. Mina uses her final Hail Mary and assumes Kilmartin never told her why she can exist during the day, why she could leave the forest when the others couldn't. She tells it about the halfling dilemma, the offspring conceived by a human and a fairy, and the reason Madeline can walk in the daylight is because she is half human, which would mean she knows how it feels to be human, to feel jealousy, hate, love, and all the other emotions that come with being human. Mina says she knows what it's like to feel like half of you is evil, because for most of her life she saw herself as the bad guy. The Watcher cycles through the humans it has copied. Then Mina tells the Watcher there might be others like her out there. She could look for them so she doesn't have to be alone anymore. The beast sprouts its wings and flies off into the night. Mina checks if Kira is still alive, and luckily she is fine, just a little confused. Time passes, and Mina finally visits her sister Lucy. She tells her the truth about what happened in the forest. She tells her she believes Madeline still watches her from time to time. She takes on the form of a little girl. Darwin flies to look out of the window as a little red-haired girl is standing there, watching. Now, if you are truly into plot holes, this one really bothered me while watching this movie. Why did Madeline not just open up the hatch in the bunker? Because she clearly knew about the hidden lab and use the computer to find out how to escape the forest. If the reason is that she never learned how to use a computer, she could have easily used Daniel when he entered the woods. There is absolutely no reason for her to need Mina to escape to forest at all. Darwin was of more importance to escape the woods than Mina. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time.